Hi everybody, welcome to another Just Corey. This one's again just me. I don't mean to make these a habit, but I was sick last week. We're so back. We've never been more back. As we all know, because we're all huge Secrets Between the Stars fans. I was very sick last week, so I missed the last episode, and in that in that time, I completely forgot that Bryn is out of town for like 2 weeks. So I didn't figure out anything for the Tuesday show. And it wasn't until yesterday that I texted her and she's like, I'm out of town. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Hello, Just Corey, Conqueror's Hockey Wielder. I was hanging, Sully and I were hanging out with Colby the other day. And I said, my legacy, if I were to leave UGT, like something happened, if I were to leave UGT right now, my legacy on there would be Conqueror's Hockey and my distaste for kiwis, both the bird and the fruit, which is just an insane legacy to have. But it's the one I've created on my own. Every time we go live on stream, I think that, this text looks fine, and then something happens and it doesn't look fine. So there we go. Now it looks fine. Not you, Siri. Yeah, that's my legacy, is that I have Conqueror's Hockey, which honestly, I don't even, on further reflection, now that I've finished One Piece, it's closer to the Will of D that I have than Conqueror's Hockey, but, I take that back. Today I had to go, today at my job, without giving too many details, we had to trespass a guy because he was at our door screaming and swearing, and then several of us walked out and were just swearing. And at one point he went out and talked to the head of security, and I had to go stand outside and just kind of look menacingly so that in case he got visible. So you know what? I take it back. I convinced myself I do have Conqueror's Hockey. So it is just what it is. But that's not what we're here for. I'm gonna kind of hop into it here because I'm gonna give you guys a pretty exposing look at the backside of my prep for Secrets Between the Stars, because our episode is tomorrow. I've gotten assets over to Arcadis. I've sent in some stuff that we need to do for deadlines and things. I sent it to him admittedly very late last week, and then I got sick. But I'm going to show you my notes for what Secrets looks like on the back end for my side of it, as well as we are going to kind of finish designing and prepping this combat that's going to be happening on tomorrow's stream. Now, I did tell the Secrets crew expressly they are not allowed to watch this stream until tomorrow. On a day of the stream tomorrow, they're not allowed to watch this, because this is fully spoil what they're going to be doing. But to get into it a bit, what we'll be doing is I'm going to show you the notes I have for it, the ideas I'm going to share, the ideas I have. You will see the shockingly little notes I have for this episode tomorrow, and then you will see if you have any ideas, feel free to chime in, because I will be happily accepting any thoughts, critiques, ideas for what we could be doing. So with that, so we can get into a bit of the explanation for what's going to be happening tomorrow night. If you are not caught up on Secrets, spoilers, but you should catch up on Secrets. But the party where we last left, they had a large, not combat, but an encounter with a man who turned out to be an android, which were thought to be extinct, essentially. And a soon-to-be wanted criminal were meeting to get information about some sort of job that they were working. And at the end of the episode, Doc got a note in the mail that was both a wanted poster from Benoit and another note in there saying Saint Belina Central Bank at this time on a day. So presumably they'll be doing a bank heist. So I will be prepping a bank heist. That's what this combat will be, and the basic ideas I have of it, I've got a little bit more than basic ideas, but the crux of this combat is going to be the large vault that will be located in the back of the this main lobby area of this bank. It works like small dimensions essentially. So there's one large vault door that each person will get a key to. Who like opens an account there will get a key. One person goes in, turns the key, opens the vault, and they have their own personal like vault room. And another person goes, opens the key, they have a completely different but their own personal vault room. So the idea of this combat, again, Secrets crew, don't watch this. The idea of this combat is going to be that ideally they'll be waiting out somehow, some way they'll be waiting for Graxilus, the man that they are hunting down, to come to this bank and try to rob it. Whether they succeed or not, that's dependent on what they do with that part, but there will be an employee there who is like the man on the inside, who will plant a bomb and a charge on this vault door, blow it up, and the vault door will open, like just fall to the ground, and tons of enemies and things will be pouring out of this vault. So their main goal of this combat is not only to defeat the things that are coming out and try to stop the guy who is actively doing a crime, but also to reseal this vault door to prevent more things from coming out of it. So near the end of this combat, there's going to be a series of checks that some of them will have to do to, if they choose to lift the vault door up, which will be very heavy, they have to make a series of checks to make sure that they can do that. Or if they come up with some creative other idea that they can do, or they could just try to keep fighting all the things that are coming out. So, all that to say, let's take a look at my notes, and you'll see again just kind of how kind of like undercooked a lot of things I currently have are. I also have Ark and Forge open, a sponsor of the show, and a great program. We will be using that and kind of doing some of the basics of it, but we won't be too going crazy in there. We kind of have a lot of what we need is just in the setup section of it. So what I use for my notes taking is a program called Obsidian, which is just a massive notes taking app. These are all the episodes that we've done so far. You will notice there are some gaps in there because sometimes I didn't take notes on the episode and I just kind of winged it, and sometimes I just didn't do them quite right, or I didn't like the notes and they didn't work out and something else completely different happened. Don't do what I do. I didn't know I could do that. The thing about me is I have 2 to 3 years of trained improv. I know how to think on my feet extremely well. I know how to bounce off of ideas of other people. I know how to properly read a room. I have a general feeling of this game as well, so I know how to set DCs properly and things like that. There's a great Brennan Lee Mulligan quote of somebody asked him how to become a good DM, and he said, you just play and play and play for years, and you learn how to properly tell stories through this medium. Or you can do the fast way and spend a lot of money just taking improv classes. And I inadvertently did that one because I did like playing D&D, but I also like doing improv comedy. So it's the best of both worlds here. So all that to say, this is what I currently have as notes for this next episode. Doc will have a note in there saying, as a thanks for the many years of service, here is a free heads up. If Grixlis does what he plans, he will be worth this much. They'll have 2 days to prep for the bank heist. Gives them a little bit of time for prepping because some of our players like prepping on some of this stuff. I know Marcus specifically, he's got a lot of things that he can utilize to his advantage if he has prep time. Like in the last episode 4, he had a little box that like turned him invisible. If he didn't have prep time, he wouldn't be able to use that. He hasn't really been able to use that. So I'm trying to give more opportunities to use some different things that they haven't had the opportunity to use before. So they'll have a little bit of prep time to kind of get whatever they want for the next couple of days, as well as try to scope it out, try to set up that kind of stuff. Then, as well as I have the Central Bank of St. Helena is a relatively small building. It has about 5 employees working there with a large vault door behind the counter. In order for someone to access what they have, they must have a special key to access that room. Valor, you don't worry about that. You got a little peek behind the screen. That's his name. Has managed to swap one employee with a bot who will plant a small bomb on the hinges of the door. That is something that will come up in this episode. If they defeat that employee of somehow, some way, then they will see that he is a robot inside. He's not really him. I think Riley said that he looks like Dr. Doom, and that was definitely a big inspiration. So these are like his Doom bots that are replacing the people of that he needs to get replaced. So, with that said, this is Arc and Torch is the map we're going to be using. This is also from, I believe it's Adventure Maps is who it is. They are on Patreon. It's like $5 a month, and you just get access to a ton of their maps that are super, super high quality and what I have been using for quite a while. So I cannot recommend them enough. We got a new wireless mouse that loves to just kind of really have a mind of its own, as you can kind of see it jump around. I'm going to be right back. Hang on one second. Try a mouse pad. Let's see if a mouse pad works better. Significantly better. So this map has a whole lot of room. It's got a whole lot of stuff that we are frankly not going to be using. Instead, what they will be using via Fog of War Dit, they will have access to this little room here, this little office if they so choose. They will see the vault door here, and then that's basically all they're gonna really get. Because the idea, like I said, will be that the vault door will bust open, and then they will have to relatively quickly try to reseal it as things come pouring out, and they will have a lot of people in here as well. I want to have a kind of tighter and more claustrophobic setting than our normal stuff. Normally we fight in like kind of bigger open spaces, but I want there to be obstacles in the way. I want there to be chairs, and it's kind of hard to see because of the gridding on here, but there are little ropes right here, so they have to try to avoid running through those. Otherwise, that's difficult terrain or something. Probably difficult terrain. And otherwise, they face tripping as well. So this is all they are going to really have access to, is this little area that I have just highlighted out. And before, let's explore all the things. Right? They can't explore too much inside of a business. Like that, they're not going to be able to just kind of waltz in and do whatever they want. They can try opening a bank account if they really want to, which I am sure somebody will try to open a bank account. If I could put money on it, I'm going to say Chip is going to try to open a bank account, because that is his MO. He will either try to legitimately open a bank account, or Clementine will walk up to try to distract and talk to the employees for a while and open a bank account as well. Those are my two called shots. So, the idea of this combat as well, as we cannot see, that I don't have written down, there's two things that we have to kind of plan out. There is the pre-vault door exploding and post-vault door exploding. And what will happen is, in the post-vault door exploding, I have made this little D6 chart that I will have the players roll, and then whatever result they get is what will pop out. One of them is a friend. Which one is he? It is the Morlama. Yeah, this one. The Morlama, which is just a which is just straight up just a walrus. It is just like a magic walrus. I can't open it because it's on. Can I just do that? No. What if I did this? Hang on. First get it. We got something. There it is. Haha. I did that blind. So we got the Morlama. Here we go. Which is just... it is straight up a walrus. I was looking through it, and I thought it was just funny that they'd have a little walrus friend that pops out of this. And he is a mayor. He's a mayor. He's been elected. The democratic system has worked. He's also a humanoid. Look at this human. Look at this humanoid. Look at this man. You see this and you think that's a human man when I look at him. So that is an interesting take on what a humanoid is. But yeah, he's got the abilities of Mind Link and Mind Thrust. Must be the third Tusk. He's got Mind Link, Mind Tusk, Mind Thrust. He now has a spell called Mind Tusk and Mystic Curve. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reflavoring him a bit because the Gray Goo, this is the worst thing that could pop out for them. CR 14, they are level 10, I want to say. Which seems like a big jump, but I've got two guys on this team between Gary and Logan who just do exclusively so much damage. Like they single-handedly raise the challenge rating of every combat up 1 or 2. So, but this Grey Goo has an ability that is Infest. As a standard action, a Grey Goo can infest an adjacent medium or large creature. The Grey Goo moves inside the creature's body, dealing double its normal swarm attack damage to its hosts each round at the beginning of the Grey Goo's turn. A Grey Goo can't use its normal attacks, blah, 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 blah. A Grey Goo infesting a host can be expelled by any effect that cures disease, such as remove affliction. The effective disease DC is the same as the infest's ability. So, I believe Chip has ways to cure diseases, and I believe that Logan has ways of, or Doc has ways of curing diseases, considering they are both experts of medicine. So there's not too much of a fear of that, but just in case they can't, what I'm going to be doing is giving this walrus, I'm going to be giving him remove affliction. Like, he just will straight up have that as a spell that he can cast to just get that Grey Goo out in case things start going too bad for them. But I'm going to try to keep it as honest and straightforward as I can. How it'll also work is that these creatures, I believe, will be coming out near the end. Like, I'll have them at like initiative 0, that they roll again and then a new thing will pop out. And I will adjust their HPs and stuff as necessary. Like 250 HP is a lot, especially with how much they will have going on. They don't want something at 250 HP. And frankly, KAC 30 is a little higher for them, but I will be adjusting those a bit. So what we first need to do, this is what I always do when I get to this kind of stuff, is I plan the things I get excited for, and I don't always plan enough on the other things that I want that I need to do. So I want this vault door to fall down, but there needs to be a whole other secondary or first. I don't know what the equivalent of that word would be. The first, there needs to be a first combat. Grixlis, the little goblin guy with a gun on his shoulder, will have to walk into this bank, and he will have to have a couple of goons with him, and then they will need to have some sort of small scuffle with the people inside the bank. Presumably what's going to happen is the party will see Grixlis enter and will try to jump him as fast as possible. So what we need to avoid is having Grixlis and 6 guys walk in all at once, and then the party just kind of jump them at the door, and then nothing else can really happen. What we need to do is have another element within this combat. There needs to be something else that happens, so it doesn't just result into like point blank shooting at each other, just rolling and see if they hit, and they go, "Oh darn, I missed next turn." So, some of my ideas, this is where I will happily ask for some of your guys' help. Some of my ideas were they could go into the bank and take somebody hostage. Just some random old woman that's there to cash a check for her grandson or something is there, and she just hold her at gunpoint and say, open the vault or else the old lady gets it. The old bag gets it. And while most of our party are criminals, they will try to do the right thing. And if they won't, then Doc absolutely will, as a pseudo lawman himself. So what I'm thinking here is they might just go in, hold somebody hostage, and the party will have to try to figure out how to deal with that. What I'm also thinking is some of the men will come in and they won't look like they're outlaws, and then they'll just suddenly pull out. It'll be like, if everything goes according to plan, it would be these like 3 or 4 guys all pull out a gun and point it at an old lady, and then Grixlis walks in and tries to begin the robbery and blowing open the vault door. However, with that kind of if it goes too well, then the party won't have anything to do, and we'll just have to kind of deal with a lot of stuff very suddenly, and then that becomes a bookkeeping nightmare on my end in the back, as I have like 12 different character sheets that I'm having to kind of keep track of and figure out how to properly manage. So my other idea is Grixlis just walks in, starts kind of shooting up at the sky, and then as the party goes to start their combat on the side of this vault here, on the side of this building here, these are windows right here. So maybe I just have we just have some soldiers standing on the side here and just lay into the building, just make a wall of bullets, and they have to try to attempt to dodge that, or they'll just take a ton of piercing damage. Which, as I'm saying this out loud, sounds a little more fun, I think, than the other one, because that at least kind of just gets it started. And then there's these guys they have to deal with, as well as Grixlis, who's walking in. So I think, unless anybody else has any other better ideas, I think that's what we're going to go with. So let me see what tokens we have. I have admittedly not really looked through these tokens in a while. This is who I was looking for random goons. These are just kind of basic tokens we have. I think 4 will be enough, and they'll just be kind of simple guys. See, the thing is, I don't always make stat blocks for everything. Like these guys, I'm just gonna find some pretty simple weapons, give some kind of simple stats, and nothing crazy HP wise or AC wise. But they will just pop up, start firing into the party, and then they have to do what they can to try to not die. Let's see, season 2. Oh, that's right, because then Arcanus and all of his talents and abilities, he started making the tokens a lot fancier than they used to be. Well, I don't know what you said in chat, but I'll say it again, I guess. Oh, there it is. So, let me see. I don't know where you put the player tokens for season 3. There it is. So that's Chip. Get Clem in there. We'll get Valia. We'll get Doc. We'll get Aster. Whoops. Alright, so assuming how things will go. Complete shot in the dark, and I'm just kind of saying this as a great what if. I will assume that some of them will be sitting around at chairs. I bet Aster will try to sit as close to the door as he can in case Grixlis walks in. I'm gonna go with my shot in the dark here and say that both Clem and Chip are trying to open bank accounts, and Valia will sit as far in the back as she possibly can. So they will all be sitting here waiting. Graxilis, there he is. Alright, let's get these tokens on my face. Alright, Graxilis will be sitting here with his little gun, shoulder gun thing. And he will be just walking in through the front door right here. So that's the basic layout of how it'll start. That's how I'm assuming it will start. And then in the back will be... Also, I am sorry, Arcadis, I definitely uploaded these things to the wrong spot, but I was working with what I had. We'll just put these 5 little enemies in the back here. 5 enemies, and then 1 walrus friend who will be just straight chilling. Alright, got the basic of the map set up, so we have a kind of layout that I can work with. I'm a very visual person, so having that kind of helps me. It's harder for me to do that when I normally write, because I don't have ArchiForge just available on my computer, because it's old. It struggles to run it. But also, just to give myself some credit, I do not always just have notes this little. Like last week I went crazy with my notes. This is everything that they did for that last session, including I had Squirt show up for when Doc had to go talk to him. These are the things that Doc could have learned. And then down here, this is the whole market encounter that they had. These are the two roles that the players can play as, is the sniper, which I presumed was Valia, and then the shoppers, which was everybody else. These are the things they can do. I give them little handouts that you saw. And in this was exactly this. This is what they saw. I just copy pasted this into Word, printed it, and then cut it up into little slivers. And I gave them all one thing. Is at the end of it, Sully and I were talking, and she was like, "Yeah, I just didn't think I had an opportunity to do the shop, which I had here, which was look at shops and try to strike a deal with the merchant." And I told her, which was straight out like, "Yeah, that was in case you guys were womping me, like in case my ass was just getting fully kicked. Then if you guys were just rolling nat 20s the entire time, and there was no stakes anymore, and you could just hear every word of this conversation." Then you guys could look at shops, and we could just do some role playing within that. I would just kind of improv some funny little market guys, and they could try to barter and deal and do whatever they wanted to. Because in a perfect world with that encounter, it would have been one person was following them, was able to hear every conversation, and could just not have to worry about anything else going around them, and just relay it to everyone else once it was done. And then another person could be there to fend off anyone that was getting near either each other, like the players themselves or the targets. So in a perfect world, they only needed 2 people to do that, and that would be 3 of our players, or 2 at that time, doing nothing. They'd have absolutely nothing to do. So I wanted to make sure that everybody had something they could do if things were going too well, which was just shop, and they could they all have money that they don't ever fully use, because admittedly I don't do a lot of shopping stuff. I'm trying to do a little bit more of it with Squirt and stuff, but that was just the just in case option. And then I gave, these were all the DCs they had in each section that they were in, as well as like what they could hear from these conversations. This is a little Tuesday show treat for you of the android's name now, so that'll come up in a few episodes, so good for you. Riley, when you watch this later, I hope you enjoy and hold on to that secret for me. But there was a whole section of that combat that was just I didn't use, which was, there was another sniper in the south section that would just take shots at anyone like Valia could, and would occasionally just get into a little sniper war with Valia. But they had so much that they were juggling at that point that they were having a good mix of roles that were not good and roles that were bad. that I felt like if I added a sniper in, that'd be too much, and then they would miss any of the information that was really required for that session to matter to get enough to move on to the next episode. So that was just a little thing there. Episode before that, I wrote a whole lot of notes and a whole dueling system that we ended up not using. That this will come up later. And then episode 2, I write more than I normally do. I write more than I have this time, I should say. So, the episode itself, what I believe we will do is the party will wait inside the bank, hoping to get the jump on Grixalis. They can do whatever they want in there. I will improv what I must. If they want to go talk to an employee for a little bit, then they can. I'd have them make either persuasion checks or culture checks to try to convince them that we do really want to be here and we would love to open a bank account more than anything else in this entire world. And that's when they will learn that the this bank account is expensive to bank accounts here are expensive to have. This keyboard feels weird to type. You're paying for your own little pocket dimension that isn't cheap. So they're more than welcome to try to open a bank account, but I'm gonna say it probably costs like 200,000 credits to maintain each month, implying that whoever they are robbing from has money. I will not reveal who that is. You guys don't get that much information. So what I'm thinking is party at the noted time in that Doc got, Grixalis will walk in and fire into the ceiling. Once he does that, the party will make perception checks. And I'm going to say that's a DC. I'm going to say that's a DC 27. We have big numbers here in level 10 Starfinder. It's a mentality change that I still have to get used to after coming from Dungeons and Dragons, which is like the highest DCs you would get were like 18. So it's ingrained in my blood to make it 18, not 10 more than that. They'll make perception checks to see the men standing outside, the men hiding outside with guns that are ready to fire. So what I'm thinking is the Arkenforge, what it lets you do is you can select these guys and then you can hide them so that they are not visible on the player screen. So the screen you guys normally see, on chat or on stream rather, is the player screen. That's exactly what they're seeing, but we have access to the screen that you're seeing on this episode, on this stream, which is, it has all the controls and all these little things that are hidden in this fog of war that we have back here that I erased on this section would just be all completely black. Like that's all just shadow right there. Because Arkenforge truly, I know they're a sponsor, but it is truly like they do have a lot of great tools. Like they are genuinely very good. In season 2, I made a whole map for Stewland, and it took me like a day to make it, but that was just because I didn't know what I was doing and I was learning how to make a map, and I've never made a map in my life before. But Arkenforge makes it very, very easy. I did not have to learn a whole program, and learn how to make a map. I just had to get a feel for the program and then learn how to make a map. And getting a feel for it is much easier than having to learn it, which is a huge credit to them for how, frankly, intuitive and obvious a lot of their stuff here is. So, all that to say, Grixlis will walk in to here. He will fire his shots out like crazy, and then they will panic. Crowds in here will panic and begin to flee. What I'm thinking I'll do, I don't think we have a crowd token or asset. No. Group? Nope, that's the Malevolence family down there. What I'm thinking is there'll be crowds of people in here. Not like huge crowds of people, but like 15-ish people in here maybe that they will have to start running out. So if anyone... They will start obviously kind of running around him because this is the only exit. So if anyone tries to take a shot at Grixlis, he will have essentially full cover because he's just surrounded by people. And then so that will give Grixlis a round to be able to actually get in and do whatever he needs, whatever I want him to start doing. And then they will also have to deal with this hailfire of bullets from the window. And what I believe I will do is have the players make a reflex saving throw. And when they make that reflex saving throw, if they pass, they'll take no damage. If they fail, they will take damage. It feels cheap in that point to... Or no, actually, maybe I'll do this. If they pass the perception check, then when they make that reflex check, if they pass, they get half damage. If they fail, they'll take... if they pass, they'll take no damage. If they fail, they'll take half. If they fail the perception check, and then they fail that reflex, they'll take the full damage then. So they have opportunities here to not take as much damage. Which is another thing I learned with Starfinder. And AJ, frankly, give credit to AJ on this one, is don't be afraid to hurt your players, because I don't think like anybody went down in season 1. And now between Defy the Dragon and this one, I've knocked a few of them down a couple of times. I'm here for blood this time, damn it. So let's see. See, the men hiding outside the guns are ready to fire. Once Grixlis makes his entrance, the men outside will fire, and the party will... This will also... I will do all of this before initiative, because then when initiative starts, they will all be prone. And I'm going to have it so that if they get shot as well, then they'll hit the ground. So no matter what, all of them will be starting this combat on the ground or trying to duck behind cover of some kind. I will give them that. Taking the whole "a boss isn't threatening unless it can one-round PC" advice from Squid. I mean, basically, that was what I was trying to do with that. The massive squid from the first episode was just whack them as hard as I can. I think I got Gary down to like 2 HP or something like that, like real low. And I mean, even in the last episode, I Sully did technically die, and then she came back. She got better, but I'm trying to make it clear that this is a much more threatening world than they're used to, and the stakes are higher when a combat begins. So that's what I'm trying to my best to do is hurt them good, which is easier for some of them than for other ones. Because I know I can take down Clementine pretty quick. If a big thing focuses on her, she's dropping. There's very little chance of her being able to take a ton of those hits. But Gary or Doc, or Astor and Doc, they'll take a few hits to be able to do. Which is their roles. They're tanks. Alright. So once Grixlis makes his entrance, the men outside will fire and the party will make a reflex saving throw. I'm going to say reflex saving throw is a little closer to D&D numbers than I'm used to, so I'm going to say DC 15. Passing, failing. I'm just going to write it out like this way so I can kind of easily visualize it. There is like something on this desk that is just coming off all over my hands. Failing. I don't know why I said P there. Format. Also, I'm using. I don't remember if I said it or not. I'm using Obsidian for. I think I said it. I'm using Obsidian for my notes here, and it's because it both is cross-platform. My console brain. It works on both Windows and Mac. So here we use Windows. At my work and at my house, I use a Mac, and I'm able to pretty easily bounce back and forth. Not that I normally take notes here, but for this, like, this is a good example of I'm able to do that. As well as it's, I pay like $8 a month for it. I think it's worth it to just have it shared to the cloud. That allows this cross back and forth. Otherwise, I'd have to. You can do it free. You just have to like email it to yourself. Excuse me. You have to just email it to yourself. But $8 a month is you know, it's nothing too much for me at least. Hi, Peter from Righteous. Petar from Righteous. Welcome to the stream. We're prepping a combat, so if you have ideas for a bank robbery, I'm open to those. Passing, failing. So past perception and reflex, they get no damage. Past perception, failed reflex, half damage. Failed perception. I have to spell it all out. I know I don't have to. I could shorthand it, but it just kind of helps me when I'm going back there. I can kind of quickly look at. I don't have to look for the shorthand I invented in that moment. What kind of bank robbery, both in terms of vibes and tech level? Both in terms of vibes and tech level is vibes is Wild West and tech level is Wild West, but like a little sci-fi. This is a Starfinder series, but they are on a desert planet that is fully spaghetti western, and technology doesn't really work here, but magic still works. So all technology are pretty simple, like analog guns like we have, like in the real world, closer to that than like the normal laser and phaser guns that they have outside of this planet. And the main crux of it is there's a large vault that people are trying to break into, and the party is going to be trying to stop them. That vault will break open at some point, and creatures will be pouring out as they try to reseal that bank vault. That is the crux of this whole thing. So, any ideas would be great and more than welcome. I'm open to anything. Failed perception but past reflex is half damage, and then failed perception, failed perception, and reflex, full damage. And I'm thinking the damage will be. Thanks for the follow, Peter. The damage will be. Let me think. They're all level 10 HP. Let me think. So this thing is CR 14, and it does 8d6 plus 20 bludgeoning damage. I'm gonna fully ignore the dismantle thing. There's gonna be so many things going on. We don't need to worry about this goo taking them apart as well. So this thing does 8d6 plus 20 bludgeoning damage. So firing 4 guns into, and we're just gonna say that they're like the not automatic, but the repeater rifles that they have. You ever seen a Wild West, or if you've seen Terminator 2, he uses one that's like a shotgun that has like the pump that they use. I'm gonna say using 4 of those. I think honestly, is this Chrono Cross music? It could be. This is just, I have an Animal Crossing soundtrack I just kind of put on normally, and we listen to that. Let's see. That last one was Chrono Cross. Great pull. I've never played the Chrono series, but I know I would probably like them. I like Akira Toriyama's stuff, and that's Akira Toriyama's kind of like best work there. So I would probably love that game. Okay, I'm thinking just 10d6 because they have more likely 10d6 piercing. They have a lot of them have resistance to piercing, so they will take like 3 or 4 less of that damage as is, and they have a 50% chance to take half damage. Math-wise, it's probably a little more than 50% chance, but they have a greater chance of taking half damage than the full damage. While that seems like a little gracious after I just said I'm here to hurt the party more, a lot of these creatures that I have on that little chart down there do a lot of damage. Like that gray goo does 8d6, but if it's inside of you, then it does 16d6. Like it's doing double damage. So they will have plenty of things to hurt them later on in this combat. So damage will be 10d6 piercing, and it will act as 1 instance. Haven't played Chrono Trigger, played the crap out of Chrono Cross. Really good game, does suffer a bit from roster bloat though. Yeah, I always hear people talk about Chrono Trigger more than I hear them talk about Chrono Cross, but I hear, like, there's always a fondness for Chrono Cross, but I know Chrono Trigger is just regarded as like one of the best JRPGs, just like period. Which I've not played any of the Chrono games at all, so I one day will, but my list of games I need to play just grows longer and longer every day. Still need to beat Monster Hunter Wilds, if that's the newest one. I think it's the newest one. I haven't beaten World's the newest one. I haven't beaten the new one yet. I got maybe like 5 hours in and then stopped because I got distracted by other games. I need to play Expedition 33. We talked about that one on stream a little bit before. That game looks great. I need to give it a better shot because I was sick when I started playing it, and so that's not a sick game. I've just been playing a lot of Minecraft lately, so I need to like kind of round out my catalog here. I think the last game I finished was Resident Evil 8 like 3 months ago, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that game that much. Act as 1 instance of damage. Final Fantasy 14 farming for me as my Steam library continues to grow. Yeah. My Game Pass has ruined my attention span so much. It is just so much of me just downloading a game, like, oh, this looks cool, then not really playing it. I'll probably, when the new Doom game comes out, I'll probably play that and beat it fully because I love the Doom games a lot. But yeah, if a game I think looks remotely cool comes out on Game Pass, then I download it and then I play it for a few hours. And then another game I like remotely comes out and I download it and play it for a few hours and forget about the other one. I've started South of Midnight and it seemed pretty good so far. Expedition, Oblivion, all these games just keep going out. I'm one man with very little time. So damage will be 10d6 piercing and it will act as 1 instance of damage. Alright, so 3 vault combat. What I will do is the big note for this one will be paragraph 5. The clerks will hide behind the counter. They won't run away like everyone else will. They kind of have cover. They're stuck behind cover. They have some ways there. That also will allow me to have the one who is a fake get up and go blow it up without seeming too out of place. The one series I want to get through is the Trials of games. Really good JRPGs, really good story, like 20 games investment. Yeah, there's a ton of those ones. Behind the counter, they won't run away. We'll just do a normal combat. regular combat at first. I also need to find a stat block for Grixlis still. I'm not too worried about that because he's not going to be as crazy important. But he will be popping off some shots throughout this whole thing. And we'll be trying to get to that vault, so he will have to be a speedy little guy. Regular combat will ensue. And after, I'm going to say after 2 rounds, after 2 rounds, the bot clerk will go up and start messing with the vault. And at the end of the 3rd round, maybe I should make him explode. I was gonna have him plant a bomb, but maybe I just have him explode on the hinges. Maybe I shouldn't make it round dependent. Maybe I should make it more once Grixlis gets there. And once Grixlis gets to the vault, the bot clerk will begin to walk to him. The next round, Grixlis will quickly open the vault and jump in, with it shutting behind him. And then the next round after that, he will pop back out with some papers and begin to run. He'll begin to run, and at the end of this round, the bot clerk will explode. Bot clerk will explode, releasing the hinges from it will release the hinges from the vault. The vault door will open. Things will begin pouring out. Grixlis's main goal is to leave. He don't want to be here. There's a lot of people who want to kill him. A lot of people who want to turn him in. He's just there to get in, get the stuff he needs, get out. He does not want to stand and fight for honor. So, party will be able to fight him and kill him. This will also lead to some potential for some inner party conflict here, because Doc is very strictly don't kill. We ain't here to kill. We bring them in alive. We don't bring them in dead. But that the party don't care. In the last episode, I think we said like nobody even knows that Valia killed that one guy and hid them Clem hid them in a barrel. So there's room there for some there's seeds being planted for inter-party conflict that way. I think it's good. I feel like it's good. What do I know? I just work here. From the vault door, opening it. That's going to be a pretty straightforward combat. I don't need that one to be super long, and it's probably where we'll take our break then. Because then this next section of this combat is going to take time, because it will be they handle the things coming out of this vault as well as resealing the vault. So what I'm trying to think of for resealing it, the party themselves do not have magic. They don't have any way of casting spells. So I'm thinking that there will be a blowtorch in the office, in the side office here. in this one here, which this is the door. Arcadis will mark it. He always puts a little door like icon on top of it that makes it easier for us to see, and for you, the viewer, to see. Also, I just saw that this thing is 10 feet long. That's a big boy there. And it froze. So, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Arkham Forge. There we go. Unfroze. So, once that, what I'm thinking is, yeah, that there will be a blowtorch. Oh, there you go. We got to see into the void. There will be a blowtorch in this office here, maybe underneath this desk, like in the drawer. Because there's no like utility closets in here, so it'll just be like, oh, the manager has his handy spare blowtorch for all of the creme brulee he does for his high paying guests, customers. So somebody at the party will have to, one or two people will have to try to lift this vault door to hold it up, and then somebody else will have to go in to try to get the blowtorch to come out here and begin welding it shut a little bit, as well as dealing with any of the creatures that are in here. And what I'm probably going to do, GM-wise, is the first 2 times they roll this will be at initiative 0 they roll this. At initiative... I always spell it wrong. At initiative... At initiative... Nailed it. 0. Someone will roll a d6. They'll roll a d6, and that'll come out. So what will happen is the first, say somebody rolls a 2, and they get ghost. A ghost pops out. Spooky. Then on the next time, they roll a 2 again. What I'll probably do is just have it just erase 2, and then 3 will become 2. So we'll just kind of keep moving up. But then after the second one, if they have not properly handled, I don't want more than 2 at a time out here. So if they still have a second one out, then they roll the same number again, then that'll just be a blank. Ideally, I don't want more than 2 at a time out here. Realistically, there probably will be more than 2 of a time out here. What I'm also trying to do, a key thing I also am trying to do, is how Riley has built Clementine's character sheet. She is very, very roleplay talk focused. So a lot of her abilities require the opponent to have allies that it can talk to. She has ways to. It's very similar to Bon Mo in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Is like you can kind of insult them to like make them flat-footed in some way, or like debuff them, or you can kind of turn it so that the opponent does not see their allies as allies. You can make it like she's very much heavy on that kind of stuff. So the first half of that combat will be kind of her forte of these like 5 people that come in. She's able to kind of turn them all against each other by talking if she wants. And then the second half is where she will struggle a bit more, but will be able to kind of probably will be the one to go get the blowtorch out of the room when possible. Or if she can't, then like Chip can or something if she wants to try to like focus on shooting them. I'm trying to make sure I'm giving everybody as many options as possible to do something in this combat, which is a big thing I recommend for anyone doing homebrew games, is to really, really take into consideration who can do what in each combat. Valia will be able to either also help and go get the blowtorch, or try to help lift that vault door closed. My allergies are killing me. She'd be able to do kind of any of those, or she can do what she does best. Also, is just kind of sit on the side and be able to take shots at people and do big number damage. when applicable. Which, for some of these guys, that gray goo is big. But so is, he didn't click. So is Tapestry Moth here. That's also a CR16. So these are big things. Tapestry goo, or Tapestry Moth, is the biggest thing in here. Like this is the oh boy, we don't want to fight this thing. As a full action, a Tapestry Moth can implant one of its eggs into an adjacent helpless or paralyzed living creature that does not already have an egg implanted. The target takes 32 non-lethal piercing damage and is exposed to Tapestry Moth gestation, a deadly disease, which is just straight up you have a chest burster inside of you. You can just die in like 2 days if you don't get that surgically removed, which is not a huge thing. Roll for pregnant. You're rolling for pregnant. Luckily, they have the form of Plan B between Chip and Doc. They both are doctors and can remove stuff. It also has toxins that can paralyze you. It is also 280. It's like big boy here. I will be nerfing him a little bit so that it's actually manageable. But I won't. What I normally nerf when I do these, I did not pull it up. I'm sorry, you cannot see. This is the Tapestry Moth stat block. What I normally nerf when I am doing a combat like this is I don't ever really nerf the damage. I nerf the HP and the AC so that they are able to hit it and have to be able to do a little bit more damage than normal. But even then, I don't normally nerf the HP that much. I mostly just nerf the AC so they can kind of actually be able to hit it and have some fun playing the game and do some more damage. But I don't ever really nerf the damage because the damage that the creature itself does, because 68 plus 26 is scary, and he needs to be scary. And really, especially like if this thing is out, then I can just have it like if it's near the end, they resealed the vault, the fight is going on a little too long, this thing can just leave. Like its goal can be just to implant an egg in somebody and then fly away. Like it does not have to stick around this entire fight. Same with I think the goo will be there to fight until dead. I think that's definitely one that will stay for as long as it can because it's just kind of a mindless thing. That walrus won't have to stay around the entire time. The ghost can just go, oh wait, I'm dead, and then just vanish. I don't know why he has RP. I don't know why this ghost gets resolve points, but the pregnant moth thing doesn't. So that's my idea with the combat, at least. So I think it should be a fun one. Roll dice. Roll d6. That's it. The other reason I like Obsidian so much is because of this feature. I'm gonna zoom out so you can't really see all of the names, but this is everything that I have a note in is represented by a dot. So this is the Absalom ring, and you can see every single page that line is connecting to is a page that it is mentioned in, and that kind of helps me connect the things that I need to know that are connected to. So that's the Absalom ring there. This is the town of Paradise, which connects to the desert moon of Karth itself, and then the town of Paradise is also linked to the Fury's home, which is the name of the bar that Henry runs. That is Baylor, the guy we will learn more and more about. New Kaitis is the place that I have mentioned like once before, but I put it on here just because if I ever want to return to it, I can. St. Belina is the town of the map, is the town with the town with the bank they were making the map of. So like, I like Obsidian a lot because you can really visualize it. I would zoom in more because then you can see a lot of the details, but there are a lot of spoilers in here that I don't want you guys to see, especially because I know some of the party members will be watching this later, so I don't want them to see that at all. But this is another reason I got Obsidian, because a visual map like this that's showing the webs of everything is both helpful and frankly pretty cool. So, initiative, someone roll a d6. Let me do this. Post vault combat. The bot. The bot will. Alright, I think my Bluetooth is disconnecting a bit. The bot will explode. My Bluetooth is definitely disconnecting a bit. Revealing he is a bot. Oh boy. A bot and not a dude. This is my other big sin I do, and what I recommend for Starfinder players. Excuse me for that. Whew, my nose itches. Okay. If you're GMing for Starfinder, and you are on a big cultural zeitgeist place, like the equivalent of New York, what I do is I go to on TV tropes. Weirdly, don't know why it's there. What I just do is, because I use my laptop when we're playing, I just have this tab open, and if I need to make an NPC just really quick off the top of my head, I just go, oh yeah, that guy is a psychonid, and he's just a little like egg-headed thing. Looks kind of like a chicken a little bit, but if the chicken's head was stuck in an egg, and his name is Billy Bob or whatever I will say. That is my my go-to. Is I just scroll down the list, randomly click one, and go, yep, that's what this is, and I kind of loosely describe what I'm looking at. This is every single playable race you have in Starfinder, or all of these. And the key element of a lot of sci-fi stuff is you want to make sure that your universe feels large and lived in. And a lot of places, a lot of stories do that, understandably, by introducing a lot of aliens. Star Wars is like the key example of that. How many races? Yes. Yeah, that's it. And straight up, 80% of these are bugs. There's just so many bugs in here. There's a weird guy. That's cool. There's that. There's a thing called a noir. Some of them are just crazy names. Zolgath. Sure. There's Timur. I think I'm reading this from across the room, so I can't quite tell what that says. Skittermander. Yeah, so that's my recommendation. I don't know. I don't think every TTRPG has this. But Starfinder just has this list that I just use. And it is much better because my default is always going to be human man. I will always just default to that is a guy right there. How do I make him look boring? Human man. This is a weird universe. Not everything can be boring. So, there's a little GM tip for you. Man, my nose is actually crazy material. I'm having allergies of some kind. He's a bot, not a dude. He seemed totally normal until he helped Ursulus and exploded. Let me really quick. This is how you Graxless. I've been saying his name wrong this whole time. What a fool I am. That is how you connect those into that dot chart that I showed earlier. Is you just put brackets around it, and then it connects it. And then what you can also do is you can click on that, and it fully opens up to their page. So, and again, I would show you on that chart, but I don't want to show any spoilers. But I have it there. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I have it there, color coded. So, on the graph here, green is locations and orange is characters. My two biggest, Absalom Ring, which makes sense. Big place, important to the world. for some reason, Gizmo is the second one. I don't know why he's the biggest. I just remember to tag him in the most things, I think. But I think blue are NPCs. Yeah, Widget. There you go. So that was the robot brother. He had the most, because he also had both of his parents in there as well. And then these were his 2 connecting locations, Shrimp's Fried Rice and Scrapper's Delight, which is the junkyard his parents ran. So it's very, very, very helpful. It also helps you just remember that who knows what and who was where. So all these people are connected to the Absalom ring one way or another. So kind of helps with that. All right. And exploded. Vault will fall to the ground with a massive slam, and once that happens, everyone will see. I'm imagining that when it explodes inside, it's like a slot machine just spinning in there of all the different possible doors and dimensions that you can walk into for these safe vaults. And once that happens, everyone will see, see these safe rooms spinning rapidly like a slot machine. So then at initiative 0, someone will roll a d6, and then Graxilus's goal is to escape as quickly as possible. Ideally, for me, he escapes. He gets out. I can kind of have him for a little bit longer. We can do something else with him. I like the kind of like cat and mouse game they can have with him a bit. But there's a pretty decent chance that they will be able to get and apprehend him, and I'm gonna kind of leave it open enough so that they can do it either way. But for me, he gets away. He won't stay to fight. He will just run and gun. Any of his goons will provide covering fire to him so that he gets a higher AC. So that's that idea. I think it's the finish on the table that is coming up, because it is just a lot of like black dots on my hands from where my hands were on here. I don't know if that's common or not. I'm also, frankly, almost never on this side of the room. I'm usually on that side of the room. I'm only on this side of the room for Tuesdays. So, I don't know, maybe I'm just sweaty and sticking. It's all sticking to me nasty wise. Farsi gets a higher AC and is easier to, and is better at escaping. So, the party will need to reseal. Helps if I spell right. Reseal. They'll need to reseal the vault door, and reseal the vault door to prevent more of these creatures from getting out. My fear is that somebody will try to jump into one of the vault doors. if someone tries to jump into the vault door, they will, I'm just going to say that they take, because it's spinning like a roulette, or not roulette, a slot machine is actually going fast, and they will see the ground like rise with it. So they will just, I'm going to say they just take an immediate 5d6 bludgeoning damage. Imagine somebody or it's like a bludgeoning. It's like you're sticking your hand into a ceiling fan. Like if you put your hand into a ceiling fan, you're gonna get hit. Like you could theoretically go fast enough, but there's no way your whole arm is getting through it. So they're just gonna take an auto 5d6 bludgeoning damage, which they can try to use to their advantage by shoving things into as well. But they will just keep getting spit back out. Oh my god. Alright, well, I'm going to try to wrap this up here a little bit quick because I don't know what's going on with my allergies, but they are killing me really bad. They take 5d6 bludgeoning damage, and yeah. To reseal the vault, I'll probably reorganize those notes a little bit later, but that's fine. Reseal the vault. They will need to lift the vault door, doing I'm gonna prefer, it's gonna be easier if there's two of them lifting it, because it is just like massive steel door. So it'll be easier if there's two of them, but one of them I'm gonna make it not impossible to do. So DC lift the vault door with an athletics check. DC, let me think. So I know Aster is proficient in athletics. I don't know by how much. Presumably Starfinder numbers like a billion. So I'm gonna say it's like a DC 39 to do it. And hopefully that's enough. Or with two people, it'll be DC I'm gonna say 29 for each. Okay, here's what I'll say. It'll be DC 29. Once the vault door is lifted, they have to spend their turn. I'll say they spend their standard action holding it in place. If one drops it, the other will have to, I'm gonna say, because you're thinking logistically, right? Like it'll be like if you and one other person are holding up something heavy, the other person lets go, it gets heavier for you, but if you're leaning it at the proper angle, you'd still be able to hold it for a little bit here. So I'm gonna say it will have to make a DC 33. Yeah, 33 athletics check. Make a DC 33 athletics check, or both people will have to make a reflex save to get out of the way of the falling door. If failed, then they are prone and pinned. That's not the proper term for it. I don't remember the mechanics term for it, but they'll be pinned down underneath it. and then they'll need to make that DC 39 athletics check to try to get out. A clerk will say there is small blowtorch in the manager's office so they can reseal the vault door. It'll take one full action and one move action to take one full action and one move action to reseal the vault door. So that way they can choose to reseal it, spend their full action to reseal it on one turn, and then on the next turn they can finish resealing it, but then still have an action to take a shot at somebody or something like that. Or they still have some things they could do on their next turn, because they will be having to be giving up at least one turn to fix it. And that will take, like, 2 to 3 of them to fully fix. So that's what I'm thinking. Then they just have to finish beating it, and then I will pick it up tomorrow for the plot stuff that will happen. That will lead into the next episode. I don't want to give away all of my secrets here, but I will show you guys that at least, so you can see what I'm doing. I just reminded that you do tokens. Well, Arcadis, you do, but also I did just put the ones I sent you in here. But if you want to make the fancier ones you make with the little hats, then you're more than welcome to. But with all that said, I'm going to wrap it up here because my allergies have been going crazy for the last 20 minutes. That's why I've been scratching my nose like a madman. So we're going to call it here. Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll be back next week. I will be back next week. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'll be doing something. No idea. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll talk about One Piece. Maybe I'll finally do the One Piece episode. If you like the show and want to support us, some real bad. If you like the show and want to support us, follow us at UGT Show on all social media platforms. If you like what we do here, let us know. If you want to see more behind the scenes combat stuff, by all means, let me know. We can try to get another person here too, who's not on the show, to kind of bounce ideas off of and stuff like that. If you guys enjoy that, let us know. Follow us, or if you can, $5 a month on Patreon gets you access to our post shows for all of our TTRPG shows. Where after the stream, we will, us, the GM and the players, we'll talk about what happened, or kind of whatever we want to for a little bit. It's pretty fun, just kind of chill, hang out. It's like 30-40 minutes. Again, $5 a month gets you like the equivalent of 4 to 5 hours of content extra. So that's a pretty good deal, in my opinion. Netflix is like $15 and you watch 20 minutes of a show and then you forget you have it for 3 months. So, throwing that out there. With that, thank you guys so much. Secrets Between the Stars will be back tomorrow. Strange Aeons on Sunday. And I will see you later. I'm going to go scrub my face really bad. Have a good night, everybody.